There is a silence that lives in the heart of a deep forest at midnight. There is a silence in the vast and empty landscapes of the desert, under a canopy of still stars. And there is the profound underwater silence of the deep ocean abyss. We seek these quiet places to find a sense of peace, a refuge from the noise of our daily lives. But all of these silences, as deep and as vast as they may feel, are the absence of familiar sounds. They are pauses in a world that is still humming with life, with energy, and with existence. Tonight, our journey is a search for a deeper and more fundamental kind of quiet. We are going in search of one true and ultimate silence, the silence that existed before the universe itself was born. A silence so profound that it was not the absence of sound, but the absence of a universe in which sound could travel. A silence that existed before time and before space. From this unimaginable silence, our cosmos came into being. We call this moment the Big Bang. It was not an explosion in space, like a firework in the night sky. It was the expansion of space itself. It was the moment when time began to move forward and the laws of physics emerged. It was the moment when the silent score of the universe was written, a symphony whose first note contained the promise of every star, every planet, and every living thing that would ever exist. For 13.8 billion years, the echo of that first moment has expanded and cooled, blossoming into the vast and beautiful cosmos we now inhabit. Science gives us a detailed story of what happened in the moments after that first instant. Yet the human mind, in its restless curiosity, is drawn to a deeper mystery. If the Big Bang was the first word in the story of our universe, what was the great and timeless silence that preceded it? Before we venture into that impossible silence, into that time before time, I would love to know from which part of our world you are joining this journey tonight. Please write your city or your country in the comments. It is a gentle way to feel our shared connection, a global family of curious minds, all looking up at the same sky and wondering about the same deep questions. If you enjoy these calm explorations into the heart of the cosmos, please consider subscribing. Your support is the quiet energy that allows these journeys to continue as we explore the universe together, always calmly and always at the pace of the cosmos. Your presence makes this quiet corner possible, a place for deep thought and for deeper rest. Our journey tonight takes us to the edge of human knowledge, where the firm ground of science meets the open ocean of philosophical wonder. To ask, what was before the Big Bang, is to ask one of the hardest questions. In a real sense, it may be unanswerable in a definitive way. Our best theory of the cosmos, Einstein's theory of general relativity, has guided us from the first fractions of a second after the universe's birth to the present day. But when we push this theory back to the very beginning, to time zero, it breaks down. The mathematics yields infinite density and infinite temperature, a state known as a singularity. This is not a description of what was there. It is a signpost that our current tools are no longer adequate. Where our current laws of physics end, imagination guided by new ideas begins. We cannot travel back in time, but we can explore possibilities that modern physics has uncovered. We will not find a single certain answer. Instead, we will visit a quiet gallery of ideas. We will consider a universe with no beginning, where the question of before is as meaningless as asking what lies north of the North Pole. We will consider a cosmos in an endless cycle, rhythmically reborn in a great bounce. We will visit the hidden dimensions of string theory, where our universe may arise from the gentle collision of two unseen membranes. And we will contemplate that our Big Bang might be one small bubble in an eternally inflating foam, a multiverse of new beginnings. Take a deep and slow breath, and let us begin. To search for the silence before the beginning, we will journey backward into the deep and quiet past, step into a time machine of the mind, a vessel of curiosity, and begin to rewind the great clock of the universe. Our starting point is here and now, a fleeting and precious island of existence in the ocean of time. From this island we push off, letting the current carry us backward, not at a steady pace, but faster and faster, watching the grand story of the cosmos unfold in reverse before our eyes. At first, the journey is a blur of familiar history flowing in reverse. The digital age dissolves into the age of steam. Great cities shrink into small towns, and the traces of our modern world are swallowed by forests and wild plains. We drift backward through human history, seeing the pyramids of Egypt deconstructed, their stones returning to the quarries. We watch Ice Age glaciers reform, creeping from the poles to cover the continents in a white blanket. Faster we go, human history flashing by in an instant. We see the age of dinosaurs as a living scene, their steps lifting from the soft earth. Faster still, the first complex life returns to the sea, and green plants recede from barren continents. We are billions of years in the past. Earth is young, water-covered, hot and volcanic, with no life and no hint of the future to come. Our perspective now zooms out. Earth becomes one small actor in a larger play. As we accelerate backward, our sun and its planets dissolve into a cloud of gas and dust, the solar nebula from which it formed 4.5 billion years ago. We are in a time before our home existed, adrift in an ancient Milky Way. Creation runs in reverse. Nebulae pull their tendrils inward. Massive stars draw their supernova light back into single points and shrink into the nurseries where they began. For billions of years, we drift through this familiar cosmos. The same physical laws hold. The darkness is filled with the same light. Yet the universe is younger, hotter, and denser. Galaxies are closer together, their stars shining with youthful brilliance. Faster we fly backward, toward the dawn of cosmic time, about 13.8 billion years in the past. A transformation occurs. The darkness begins to glow. First a deep red, then brighter and warmer, from orange to yellow to a blinding white. The universe is no longer dark and filled with stars. It is uniform, opaque light. We have reached recombination. This is the oldest light in the universe, a snapshot when the cosmos was about 380,000 years old. Before this moment, the universe was so hot and dense that it was a fog of plasma where light could not travel freely. Today, stretched by 13.8 billion years of expansion, this first light is a cold and faint wash of microwave radiation that fills all of space. It is the silent echo of the Big Bang, known as the cosmic microwave background. We have gone back as far as light can take us. We have reached the edge of the visible universe in time. We stand at the doorstep of the beginning. Now we face the hardest step. We imagine pushing beyond this wall of light into the superheated fog of the first moments, toward a realm where our current theories predict an infinitely small and dense point. We have reached the boundary of our knowledge. With our eyes adjusted to this first light, we can begin our search for the primordial silence that may lie beyond. We have journeyed backwards together, across 13.8 billion years of cosmic history, to the very edge of the beginning. Our time machine of the mind has carried us past the age of dinosaurs, past the birth of our own sun, and through the long, beautiful eons of the first stellar generations. We have pushed through the ancient wall of light that marks the dawn of the transparent universe, the faint, glowing echo that we call the cosmic microwave background. We are now adrift in the primordial fog of the infant cosmos, a time in the first few 100,000 years after the Big Bang. The universe here is a truly alien place. It is not empty and dark, but filled with a uniform superheated plasma, a brilliant, opaque fog of fundamental particles and energy, all crushed together under an unimaginable pressure. As we continue to rewind the clock, this plasma gets hotter and denser, and the universe gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Our reverse journey now enters its final, mind-bending moments. In the first 3 minutes of the universe, we watch as the first atomic nuclei are unformed, their protons and neutrons dissolving back into a quark-gluon plasma. In the first second, the entire observable universe, with its 2 trillion galaxies, is a seething ball of energy smaller than our solar system. In the first microsecond, it is smaller than our sun. We continue to fall backwards faster and faster. Through these impossible, fleeting fractions of a second, the universe shrinks from the size of a grapefruit to the size of a single grain of sand, to a volume smaller than a single atom. We are now in a realm of energies and densities so extreme that they are far beyond anything we can ever hope to replicate in our most powerful particle accelerators on Earth. We are approaching the very beginning. We are approaching time zero. To describe this grand, cosmic scale, to write the story of the universe, science has its own language. That language is Einstein's theory of general relativity. It is one of the most beautiful and powerful ideas ever conceived by a human mind. General relativity tells us that space and time are not 2 separate things, but are woven together into a single, flexible, 4-dimensional fabric called spacetime. And it tells us that the presence of mass and energy tells this fabric how to curve. A great star or a galaxy creates a deep curve, a gravitational well in spacetime. A planet like the Earth creates a smaller one. This curvature is what we feel as the force of gravity. The Earth is not being pulled by the sun by some mysterious invisible rope. It is simply following the straightest possible path through the curved spacetime created by the sun's immense mass. It is a beautiful and elegant dance. This language of general relativity has been our unerring guide on our journey backwards. It has perfectly described the expansion of the universe, the formation of galaxies, and the behavior of the cosmos on the grandest of scales. But as we approach that final, infinitesimal point of time zero, our trusted guide, for the first time, begins to falter. As we run the equations of general relativity all the way back to the very beginning, they tell us something that seems impossible. They predict that the entirety of the universe, all the energy, all the matter, all of space-time itself, was crushed into a single infinitely small point of zero size and of infinite temperature and infinite density. This theoretical point is known as a singularity. It is a word that is heavy with mystery, but it is crucial to understand what a singularity truly is. It is not a description of a physical object. A point of zero size and infinite density is a physical impossibility. A singularity is in truth a white flag of surrender from our own mathematics. It is the point where the language of general relativity breaks down and ceases to make sense. It is like trying to divide a number by zero. The answer is not a real number. The answer is that the question itself is meaningless within the rules of standard arithmetic. The singularity, then, is the place where our current story of the universe must, for now, come to an end. It is a great, impenetrable wall at the beginning of time. This is not the only place such a wall appears in physics. General relativity also predicts a singularity at the heart of every black hole. This shared mystery hints at a deep connection between the birth of our universe and the nature of these enigmatic objects. The true reason this wall exists is that in the ultra-small, ultra-dense state of the first moment, the laws of the very large, general relativity, are no longer the only story. The strange and wonderful laws of the very small, the world of quantum mechanics, must also have played a crucial role. The problem is these two great pillars of modern physics, quantum mechanics and general relativity, do not currently work together. They speak different mathematical languages. The great locked door at the beginning of time can only be opened by a new theory, a theory of everything that can unify these two languages into a single, coherent story of quantum gravity. We do not yet have that theory. And so we find ourselves at the ultimate frontier of human knowledge, standing before a wall of infinite silence, armed only with the flickering light of our own imagination. The great silence before the Big Bang is not empty. It is the quiet, fertile void from which a deeper understanding is waiting to be born. We find ourselves standing at the very edge of the known universe, at the great and impenetrable wall of the singularity. Here, at the threshold of time zero, our most trusted language, the language of general relativity, falls silent. The story of our cosmos, as we can read it with the science we know, has reached its first page, and we can go no further. But this is not an ending. It is an invitation. It is an invitation to step beyond the boundaries of the known, into the quiet, speculative, and beautiful realm of pure possibility. We have arrived at the door to the great mystery, and though we do not yet have the key to unlock it, the brilliant minds of modern physics have offered us several breathtaking visions of what might lie on the other side. Let us now, in the quiet of this journey, explore the first and perhaps most elegant and mind-bending of these possibilities. It is an idea so profound that it does not try to answer the question of what came before the Big Bang. Instead, it gently and beautifully dissolves the question itself. This idea, known as the Hartle-Hawking state, or the no-boundary proposal, was developed by the physicists James Hartle and the great Stephen Hawking. It is a radical and courageous shift in thinking. It suggests that the reason we cannot find an answer to what came before the Big Bang is because we are asking the wrong question. To understand this, let us embark on a simple thought experiment. Imagine you are an explorer, standing on the equator of the Earth. Your goal is to travel as far north as you possibly can. You begin your journey, walking in a straight line, always heading north. You cross vast oceans and continents, your compass always pointing you forward. Days, weeks, and months pass. You are getting closer to your goal. The air gets colder. The nights get longer. Finally, after a long and arduous journey, you arrive at your destination, the North Pole. You are standing on the very top of the world. And now, I ask you a simple question. What is north of the North Pole? The question sounds perfectly logical. We have been traveling north for this entire journey, so surely there must be something more north. But the question is, in fact, completely meaningless. There is no such thing as north of the North Pole. At the precise point of the pole, the very concept of the direction north ceases to exist. It is not that you have hit a wall or an edge that is blocking you from going further north. It is that the geometric nature of the spherical Earth itself dictates that the concept of north simply dissolves at that point. The North Pole is not an edge. It is just another point on the smooth, continuous, and unbroken surface of the Earth. The no-boundary proposal suggests that time in the very earliest moments of the universe behaved in a similar way. In this view, the Big Bang is the North Pole of time. As we travel backwards in time, we are like the explorer traveling north. We are heading towards the beginning. The Big Bang is that beginning. And if we ask the question, What happened before the Big Bang? We are asking a meaningless question. We are asking what is north of the North Pole. According to this beautiful idea, the concept of before, the very idea of a past that precedes the beginning, simply does not exist. Time itself, as a dimension, began at the Big Bang. To achieve this elegant dissolution of the beginning, Hawking used a brilliant mathematical tool known as imaginary time. We do not need to understand the complex physics, but we can appreciate its poetic consequence. In the extreme conditions of the first moment, this mathematical framework allows time to behave not as a line that has a starting point, but as another dimension of space. This means that if you could journey all the way back, you would not find a sharp, singular point of creation. Instead, the universe would simply close off smoothly, like the curved, featureless surface at the North Pole of a globe. In this view, the universe is finite in its age, just as the Earth is finite in its size. But it has no beginning, no boundary, and no edge. It is a universe that is completely self-contained. This leads to a truly profound conclusion. If the universe had no beginning in time, then it could not have had a cause in the traditional sense. The very idea of cause and effect requires time to exist. A cause must always precede its effect. But if time itself was born in the Big Bang, then the Big Bang itself could not have been caused by anything that came before it. The universe, in the Hartle-Hawking view, did not come from nothing. It did not come from something. It did not come at all. It simply is. It is a self-creating, self-contained story that requires no author and no preceding chapter. The echo of silence in this first beautiful possibility is the silence of a question that needs no answer. It is the quiet peace of a perfect, unbroken circle. We have just visited a universe that is beautiful, elegant, and perfectly complete. In the vision of Hartle and Hawking, our cosmos is a self-contained story with no need for a preceding chapter, a finite history with no true beginning. The question of what came before is dissolved into a paradox of logic, like asking what is north of the North Pole. It is a profoundly peaceful and satisfying idea, but it is only one of the possible answers that is whispered by modern physics. The human mind is a restless explorer, and the great, silent wall of the singularity has been approached by other thinkers from a completely different direction. They ask a different question. What if the singularity is not a boundary at the edge of time? What if it is not a beginning from nothing? What if instead it is a gateway? What if the thunderous moment of our Big Bang was not the first breath of the cosmos, but merely the exhale of a universe that has been breathing for eternity? Let us now explore this second, beautiful possibility. It is an idea that comes to us from a field of physics called loop quantum gravity, and it is known by a simple and evocative name: the Big Bounce. This theory does not see our universe as a single, linear story with a beginning, a middle, and an end. Instead, it envisions a cosmos that is cyclical, eternal, and magnificently rhythmic. Our universe is not the only volume in the great cosmic library. It is just the latest in an infinite series of volumes, each telling the story of a universe that has lived and died and been reborn. The Big Bang, in this view, was not the moment of creation. It was a moment of transition. To understand this, let us use the simple and powerful metaphor of a single breath. Imagine the entire history of our universe, 13.8 billion years of expanding space and evolving galaxies, as one long, slow exhale. The Big Bang was the explosive start of this great exhalation. But every exhale must be preceded by an inhale. The Big Bounce theory suggests that before our universe began to expand, there was a previous universe that was contracting. For perhaps trillions of years, this ancestor universe, which may have been very much like our own, reached the end of its expansion, and the relentless pull of its own gravity took over, slowly at first, and then, with gathering speed, it began to fall back in on itself. This was the great inhale, the big crunch. Stars and galaxies that had been rushing apart for eons began to rush back together, their light shifting from red to blue as they approached one another in a great cosmic collapse. In our previous story, this collapse would end in the infinite mathematical dead end of a singularity. But in the world of loop quantum gravity, something different happens. This theory suggests that the very fabric of space-time is not a smooth, continuous sheet. Instead, it is grainy. It is woven from unimaginably tiny, indivisible, discrete loops or atoms of space and time. This means that there is a fundamental, smallest possible size for anything in the universe. Nothing can ever be crushed into a point of zero size, because there is no such thing as a size smaller than one of these atoms of space-time. The singularity, the point of infinite density, is therefore avoided. So as our parent universe collapsed, it grew hotter and denser, hurtling back towards its own origin. But instead of crashing into the infinite oblivion of a singularity, it reached the absolute limit of compression, the maximum possible density that the laws of quantum physics will allow. At this point of almost unimaginable density, a new and powerful force, a core prediction of loop quantagravity, took over. It is a quantum repulsive force, a kind of outward pressure that is inherent to the very fabric of space-time itself. This force acted like a colossal spring, halting the collapse in its tracks and causing the universe to rebound, violently, in the explosive event that we call our Big Bang. The big crunch of a previous universe became the Big Bang of our own. The inhale turned into the exhale. The universe had bounced. This idea transforms our entire perception of our origins. We are not the children of a singular, one-time creation from an unknown void. We are the children of a phoenix, a universe born from the ashes of a previous cosmos. All the matter and energy that makes up our world, every atom in your body, every photon of light from a distant star, is recycled material. It is the substance of a former universe, compressed and reborn in the fiery crucible of the Great Bounce. And the story does not end with us. In this eternal, cyclical vision, our own universe will one day end its expansion, and it too will begin the long, slow gravitational fall inwards, eventually collapsing and triggering the next Big Bang, giving birth to a new universe that will follow our own. The echo of silence in this beautiful and rhythmic story is not the silence of a void before all things. It is the momentary, profound, and powerful quiet at the turn of the tide. It is the sacred pause between the end of one cosmic breath and the beginning of the next. It is the silence of a universe in a state of eternal, cyclical meditation. We have explored two profound and beautiful possibilities for the great mystery that lies at the dawn of our universe. We have visited the idea of a self-contained cosmos, with no boundary and no true beginning, a story that elegantly dissolves the very question of before. And we have journeyed into the vision of an eternal, cyclical universe, a cosmos that breathes, living and dying, and being reborn in an endless and rhythmic great bounce. Each of these ideas offers a unique and deeply peaceful kind of comfort, but the human imagination, in its quest to understand the cosmos, has ventured into even stranger and more wondrous territories. Let us now explore a third possibility, one that comes to us from the most ambitious and mathematically beautiful theory in all of physics. It is an idea that suggests that our Big Bang was not a beginning, and it was not a bounce, but was instead a single, momentous event in a much larger, older, and permanently hidden reality. To understand it, we must first learn to see our universe, not as the whole story, but as a single page in a much larger book. This idea comes to us from the world of string theory. For decades, it has been the leading candidate for a theory of everything, a single elegant framework that could finally unite the two great pillars of modern physics: Einstein's general relativity, which describes the world of the very large, and quantum mechanics, which describes the world of the very small. The central idea of string theory is both simple and profound. It suggests that if you could zoom in on any of the fundamental particles that make up our world, an electron, a photon, a quark, you would not find an infinitely small, dimensionless point. Instead, you would find a tiny, vibrating, one-dimensional loop of pure energy, a string. And in this simple idea, a universe of possibility unfolds. The theory suggests that just like the string on a violin or a guitar can vibrate at different frequencies to create different musical notes, these fundamental cosmic strings can also vibrate in different ways. And each unique vibrational pattern, each unique note, corresponds to a different kind of fundamental particle. An electron is a string vibrating in one way. A photon is a string vibrating in another. A quark is a string vibrating in yet another. All the rich diversity of the particles that make up our reality are, in this view, just the different notes in a grand and beautiful cosmic symphony. The laws of physics, the rules of chemistry, the very way that matter and energy interact, are the harmonies of this great, vibrating orchestra. But for the beautiful mathematics of this symphony to work, the theory requires something truly extraordinary. It requires that the universe has more dimensions than the four that we know and experience: the three dimensions of space, length, width, and height, and the one dimension of time. String theory, in its modern form known as M-theory, suggests that the universe may in fact have 10 or even 11 dimensions. This, of course, raises an immediate question. If these other dimensions are real, where are they? The answer is as elegant as it is strange. The extra dimensions, the theory suggests, are compactified. They are curled up on a scale so incredibly infinitesimally small that we can never perceive them or interact with them directly. Imagine a long, thin garden hose stretching across a lawn. From a great distance, it appears to be a simple, one-dimensional line. But for a tiny ant walking upon its surface, the hose clearly has a second dimension, the circular path around its circumference. Our universe in this view is like that hose. We are the distant observers, seeing only the long, extended dimensions, completely unaware of the tiny, curled-up dimensions that exist at every single point in space. This higher dimensional reality, which is often called the bulk, allows for another radical idea. It allows for the existence of vast extended objects called brains, short for membranes. In this vision, our entire, familiar three-dimensional universe may be just one of these brains, a vast sheet-like reality floating within the larger 11-dimensional bulk. And if our universe is a brain, then it is possible that there are other parallel brains, other universes, also floating silently in this higher dimensional space. They could be, in a sense, just a microscopic distance away from us, but separated from us by one of these tiny hidden dimensions, making them completely invisible and inaccessible to us. And here, at last, we find a new and breathtaking origin story for our cosmos. In this model, the higher dimensional bulk and the silent parallel brains within it may have existed for eternity in a state of cold, dark, and quiet peace. There was no beginning, But then, two of these great silent brains, in their slow cosmic drift, collided. The immense, unimaginable energy released at the point of this collision, this gentle touch in a higher dimension, is what we, living on one of the brains, would perceive as the Big Bang. That sudden, spectacular release of energy poured into the fabric of our own brain, heating it to an incredible temperature, and kicking off the process of expansion and cooling that we have been witnessing for the last 13.8 billion years. The echo of silence in this strange and beautiful story is the eternal, profound quiet of the great hidden reality of the bulk. In our Big Bang, the loudest sound in our history was just a single, momentary note in that silence, the sound of two universes gently touching in the dark. We have journeyed through the most profound and beautiful ideas at the very edge of modern physics, in our search for what came before the beginning. We have visited a self-contained universe with no need for a past, a cyclical universe of eternal rebirth, and a universe born from the touch of a hidden, higher dimension. Each of these stories offers a unique and peaceful answer to the great cosmic question. And now we must explore our fourth and final possibility, an idea that is perhaps the grandest and most mind-expanding of them all. It is a vision that suggests our Big Bang was not the beginning, but simply a beginning. It reframes our entire cosmos, with its trillions of galaxies, not as the whole of existence, but as a single, tiny bubble in an infinite, eternally creative cosmic ocean. This is the story of the multiverse. To understand this breathtaking idea, we must first become familiar with a concept that is now a cornerstone of modern cosmology, the theory of cosmic inflation. This idea was developed to solve some of the deepest puzzles about the shape and uniformity of our own universe. It proposes that in the very first, infinitesimal fraction of a second after the Big Bang, the universe underwent a period of astonishing, ultra-rapid, and exponential expansion. For a brief, incredible moment, the fabric of space itself stretched at a rate far, far faster than the speed of light, growing from a size smaller than a single proton to the size of a grapefruit, in a sliver of time so short it is difficult to comprehend. Imagine the young universe as a microscopic, crumpled balloon. Inflation was the act of this balloon being instantly inflated to a colossal size, an act so rapid and so violent that it ironed out all the wrinkles and smoothed its surface into the vast, flat, and uniform cosmos we see around us today. This idea of an initial inflationary burst is widely accepted by physicists as the best explanation for the universe we observe. But some of the theory's own creators, physicists like Alan Guth and Andre Linde, took the idea one step further. They asked a simple question: if this inflationary process is so powerful, what could ever make it stop? Their calculations led them to a startling conclusion. Inflation, once it begins, might be an eternal process. It might stop in certain places, but it may never stop everywhere at once. This is the theory of eternal inflation. Perhaps the most gentle way to picture this is to imagine a vast, infinite pot of water that is eternally boiling. This pot of water represents a primordial, high-energy vacuum state, a kind of space-time fuel. The boiling is the process of inflation, the constant, rapid, and violent expansion of this space-time. Now, within this eternally boiling pot of water, a small bubble of steam might form. Inside this bubble, for a brief moment, the boiling stops. The steam cools and condenses back into calm, placid water, and the immense energy from that phase change is released. This bubble is a universe, our universe. The Big Bang, in this view, was the moment our bubble formed, the moment the inflation in our little patch of the cosmos stopped, and its energy was converted into all the matter and radiation that we see around us today. But here is the crucial and beautiful insight. Why the inflation inside our bubble has stopped, allowing our universe to expand at a much more leisurely and stable rate. The vast, infinite ocean of space-time outside our bubble is still boiling. It is still in a state of eternal, super-fast inflation. And because it is constantly and rapidly expanding, it is constantly creating more and more space for new bubbles to form. This vision is one of almost unimaginable scale and variety. Our entire observable universe, with its 2 trillion galaxies and its 13.8 billion year history, is just one single, isolated bubble in an infinite sea of other bubbles, each one separated from the others by the still inflating space between them, making them forever inaccessible to us. And this story has one final, fascinating twist. It is possible that as each of these bubbles cools and condenses into a universe, the very laws of physics might crystallize in different ways. The fundamental constants of nature, like the strength of gravity or the charge of an electron, might take on different, random values in each bubble. In this scenario, the vast majority of these universes would be sterile and lifeless, places where the laws of physics are not right for the formation of stars, planets, and the complex chemistry of life. Our universe, in this view, is simply one of the rare and lucky bubbles, the sound of our own cosmic bubble coming into being in an endless and silent sea of eternal creation. It is a deeply humbling and profoundly peaceful thought. It suggests that our existence is part of an unimaginably vast and endlessly creative process, and that the silence before our beginning was not empty, but was filled with the quiet promise of infinite other beginnings. We have traveled now to the farthest shores of human imagination, guided by the flickering light of our most advanced and speculative science. Our journey in search of the silence before the Big Bang has not led us to a single definitive answer. Instead, it has brought us to a quiet and wondrous gallery of possibilities, 4 profound and beautiful portraits of what might lie beyond the veil of our own cosmic dawn. We have stood in the quiet perfection of a self-contained universe, a story with no beginning and no need for a cause. We have felt the eternal rhythmic pulse of a cosmos that lives and dies and is reborn in a great bounce. We have peered into the hidden dimensions of string theory and witnessed a universe born from the gentle touch of 2 unseen worlds. And we have floated as a single, hopeful bubble in the infinite, eternally creative foam of a multiverse. Each of these stories is a breathtaking and intellectually daring attempt to answer the ultimate question. And yet, they are all profoundly different. They cannot all be true, and it may be that none of them are true. We are left in the end not with a solution, but with the mystery itself in all its deep and silent grandeur. And here, in this quiet space of not knowing, we find what may be the most important message of all. The natural human instinct is to seek certainty. We crave definitive answers. We want to solve the puzzle and close the book. The great, silent void of the unknown can often feel unsettling, even frightening. But perhaps the greatest lesson that the cosmos has to teach us is the profound and transformative power of embracing the mystery. The lack of a single, final answer to the question of what came before the beginning is not a failure of science. It is an invitation. It is an invitation to wonder, to imagine, and to remain in a state of quiet awe. A final, proven answer would, in a sense, be an ending. It would close the door on the greatest of all questions. But the open mystery allows our minds to remain open as well. It keeps us humble. It keeps us curious. It ensures that we will always have a reason to keep looking up at the night sky, not just for what we know, but for what we have yet to even dream of. The great mystery is not a void to be feared. It is a vast and fertile landscape for the human imagination to explore. And what a remarkable thing it is that we are even capable of this exploration. Let us take a moment to reflect on the journey of our own species. We are the descendants of creatures who huddled in the darkness, looking up at the sky and seeing only the terrifying faces of gods and monsters in the random patterns of the stars. We are beings who evolved on the savannas of a single small planet, our minds forged by the immediate and practical demands of survival. And yet, somehow, over a few brief millennia, these same minds have developed a language, the language of mathematics, that allows us to tell the story of the entire universe. We have learned to read the faint, ancient light from the cosmic dawn. We have learned to conceive of hidden dimensions, of colliding universes, of a time before time. The ability to even ask the question, what was before the Big Bang, is perhaps the most wondrous phenomenon in the entire cosmos. It is the purest expression of that restless, insatiable, and childlike curiosity that is the noblest part of our human spirit. It is the universe through us becoming aware of its own mystery. There is a deep and profound empowerment in this realization. We are not just passive inhabitants of a reality that has been handed to us. We are active participants in its unfolding story. We are the universe's own consciousness, its storytellers, its poets, and its explorers. And so, we do not need to choose just one of these beautiful origin stories to find our peace. We can hold them all, like a collection of precious gems, each one reflecting the light in a different, beautiful way. The story of the no-boundary universe can give us a sense of wholeness and completion. The story of the Big Bounce can give us a sense of comfort in its eternal, rhythmic renewal, a promise that nothing is ever truly lost. The story of colliding brains can give us a sense of wonder, a feeling that our reality is just one layer in a much deeper, hidden magic. And the story of the multiverse can give us a sense of being part of an endlessly creative and hopeful cosmic process. The echo of silence, then, is not the silence of an empty and desolate void. It is the quiet, reverent silence of a mind that has stopped demanding a single, simple answer, and has instead learned to find its peace in the beautiful, humbling, and unending symphony of the question itself. We have journeyed together to the farthest frontiers of scientific speculation, and we have returned with our arms full of beautiful and wondrous possibilities. We have seen our universe as a perfect and self-contained whole, as a single breath in an eternal cosmic lung, as a ripple from a collision in a hidden reality, and as a single bubble in an infinite creative foam. Each of these stories is a testament to the power of the human mind to grapple with the most profound of all questions. And yet, all of these stories, in their own unique way, are attempting to describe the relationship between something, our universe, and the great silent mystery of the nothing that may have preceded it. And so, before we continue our final, gentle descent towards rest, it is worth pausing our journey for a moment to contemplate that one fundamental concept. What do we truly mean when we speak of nothing? In our human experience, we have an instinctual discomfort with the void. Our lives are a constant dance of something. We fill our days with activity. We fill our quiet moments with sound. And we fill our minds with a ceaseless stream of thoughts. True silence, true emptiness, can feel unsettling, even frightening. Early philosophers spoke of this with the Latin phrase horror vacui, the idea that nature abhors a vacuum. We are creatures of substance, of energy, of connection. The idea of an absolute and total absence is perhaps the most alien concept our minds can ever try to hold. But just as our understanding of the cosmos has evolved, so too has our understanding of this most elemental of ideas. And modern physics, in its deep exploration of reality, has shown us that nothing is a far more rich, complex, and creative concept than we could have ever imagined. Let us explore the different layers of nothingness, traveling from the familiar to the truly profound. The first and simplest kind of nothing is the emptiness of a quiet room. It is the silence that falls after a conversation has ended, near the stillness of a landscape at dawn. But this is not true nothingness. The quiet room is still filled with air, with a gravitational field, with the faint, invisible light of cosmic radiation passing through its walls. It is not an absence of things, but simply an absence of the things we were paying attention to. A little deeper is the classical nothingness of empty space. For a long time, this was considered the ultimate void. But we now know that even the blackest, coldest space between the galaxies is far from empty. It is a place of immense activity. It is filled with a constant stream of photons from distant stars, with elusive particles called neutrinos, with the invisible currents of the solar wind, and with the gentle, undulating waves of gravity itself. It is a place of incredibly low density, but it is very much a something. To find the deepest possible physical nothing, we must imagine stripping all of this away. Imagine a perfect sealed box. We use a perfect vacuum pump to remove every last atom of matter. We shield it from every photon, every neutrino, every gravitational wave. We cool it down to absolute zero, the temperature at which all thermal vibration ceases. We have now created the most perfect, most absolute vacuum that the laws of classical physics will allow. We have created the quantum vacuum, and here, at the very foundation of reality, we discover the most astonishing truth of all. The quantum vacuum is not empty. It is not a state of quiet, placid nothingness. It is, in fact, a seething, bubbling, and wildly active place. According to the strange and wonderful laws of quantum mechanics, this perfect void is filled with a sea of roiling energy. And from this energy, pairs of virtual particles, a particle of matter and its antimatter counterpart, are constantly and spontaneously popping into existence. They live for an impossibly short sliver of time, a fleeting moment of borrowed existence, before they find each other and annihilate, vanishing back into the energetic sea from which they came. The deepest nothingness we can conceive of is, in fact, the ultimate womb of potential, a place of constant, frenetic, and invisible creation and destruction. And this strange, beautiful fact leads to one final, speculative possibility for the origin of our universe. What if our entire cosmos, with its trillions of galaxies and its billions of years of history, is simply a large-scale version of one of these quantum fluctuations? What if the universe is, in the words of the physicist Alan Guth, the ultimate free lunch? There is a beautiful hypothesis that suggests the total energy of our entire universe might be exactly zero. The immense positive energy of all the matter and all the light in the cosmos is perfectly and exactly balanced by the negative energy of its collective gravitational field. And if the total energy of the universe is zero, then it requires no net energy to create it from a quantum vacuum that also has a net energy of zero. The echo of silence, in this final vision, is not the silence of absolute non-existence. It is the quiet, humming, and unimaginably potent silence of the quantum foam, the fertile void from which our own bubble of reality may have spontaneously and beautifully emerged. Nothingness, we learn, is not an ending. It is the source of all possible beginnings. Our journey is now taking a gentle turn. We have traveled to the farthest reaches of theoretical physics, exploring the strange and wondrous landscapes of the cosmic dawn. We have stood in the quiet, complete universe of the no-boundary proposal. We have felt the eternal, rhythmic pulse of the great bounce. We have peered into the hidden dimensions of M theory, and we have floated in the infinite creative foam of the multiverse. We have even explored the very nature of nothingness, only to find it teeming with a vibrant creative potential. Each of these ideas is a testament to the relentless and beautiful curiosity of the human mind. And now, as we begin our slow and gentle return journey, it is time to synthesize these stories, to step back from the details of each individual theory and ask a simpler, more profound question. What do they all, in their own way, have in common? What is the one great unifying message that these different visions are trying to tell us about the nature of our own beginning? The common thread, the single beautiful truth that is woven through every one of these advanced scientific ideas, is the gentle and profound dissolution of a simple beginning. Our human intuition, our storytelling minds, are drawn to the idea of a clear and distinct starting point. We think of a story as having a first page, a journey as having a first step, a life as having a moment of birth, and so we naturally imagine the universe in the same way. We imagine a state of absolute nothing, and then, in a single dramatic moment, the sudden creation of something, the Big Bang. But the deeper that modern science has peered into the nature of this moment, the more this simple, intuitive idea has faded away, replaced by something far more subtle, more complex, and ultimately far more peaceful. Consider the stories we have just heard. The Hartle-Hawking no-boundary proposal dissolves the beginning into a paradox of logic. It tells us that the universe did not have a start in time, because time itself began with the universe. It is a complete and self-contained story with no first page. The theory of the Great Bounce dissolves the beginning into a single momentary point in an eternal cosmic cycle. Our Big Bang was not the beginning. It was simply the transition point from a previous contracting universe. The M theory of colliding brains dissolves our beginning into a single localized event within a much larger pre-existing and perhaps eternal higher dimensional reality. And the theory of eternal inflation dissolves our beginning into just one of an infinite number of ongoing beginnings, a single bubble in a vast and timeless cosmic sea. Even the idea of a universe from a quantum fluctuation suggests a beginning that is not a true creation, but a spontaneous emergence from a pre-existing state of pure and timeless potential. Every one of these visions, in its own beautiful language, is telling us the same thing. The Big Bang was not a moment of creation from nothing. It was a moment of profound transformation. It was a change of state, like the moment a block of ice melts into liquid water. The water was not created in the moment of melting. Its substance was already present, just in a different form. These theories suggest the same is true for our universe, the substance of our cosmos. The energy, the potential, the very laws of its existence may have always been there, in one form or another, as a previous universe, as a silent brain, as an inflating vacuum. The Big Bang was simply the moment that this pre-existing reality transformed, blossoming into the expanding, star-filled universe that we now call home. This shift in perspective, from seeing the universe as a single created event to seeing it as an eternal, ongoing process, is a deeply calming one. It removes the anxiety of a sharp, violent, and singular starting point. It replaces it with a sense of gentle, profound continuity. And this cosmic story is a perfect mirror for a deeper understanding of our own lives. We often think of our own existence as a series of sharp, distinct events: a birth, a graduation, a new job, the end of a relationship. We see these as hard beginnings and endings, but in truth, our lives are a gentle and continuous flow. A beginning is always the culmination of a long and quiet past, An ending is always a slow transformation into a new way of being. There are no true hard lines. There is only the ceaseless, quiet, and beautiful process of becoming. The echo of silence, then, is not the echo of an empty void that was defeated by creation. It is the persistent, underlying echo of the eternal, silent, and unchanging process of existence itself, a quiet hum of being that was, and is, and will always be. We have returned from the farthest edges of scientific inquiry with a quiet and profound revelation. Our search for a definitive answer to what came before the Big Bang has led us instead to a deeper understanding. The universe, in its grandest and most fundamental sense, appears not to be a singular event, but an eternal and continuous process. Our beginning was not the beginning, but a moment of profound transformation, a change of state in a reality that may have, in some form, always been. This cosmic lesson, as vast and as abstract as it may seem, is not just a piece of scientific trivia. It is a deep and powerful piece of wisdom that we can now bring down from the stars and into the quiet, intimate landscape of our own lives. For just as we have learned to see the universe in this new light, so too can we learn to see our own existence not as a series of sharp, disconnected events, but as a single, gentle, and unbroken flow. In our human lives, we are creatures of stories, and we love the clean, satisfying feeling of a sharp beginning. We celebrate the 1st of January as a new year, a chance to start fresh. We see a birthday as the start of a new chapter. We see the first day of a new job or the first day in a new home as a clean slate, a moment of pure and untainted potential. We imagine our lives as a series of distinct points, these bright and hopeful beginnings, separated by the chapters of our experience. But the universe, in its deep wisdom, teaches us a more subtle and more beautiful truth. No beginning is ever truly a beginning from nothing. It is always the quiet and graceful culmination of a long and intricate past. That first day in a new home is not a sudden start. It is the result of a long journey of decisions, of work, of longing that led you to that specific door. The beginning of a new, loving relationship is not a creation from a void. It is the beautiful and complex transformation that occurs when two long, unique, and separate life paths, each with its own history of joys and sorrows, finally find a way to flow together. The Big Bang of that moment is made possible only by the billions of quiet moments that preceded it. To see our beginnings in this way is not to diminish their magic, but to deepen it. It connects our moments of joy to the rich, deep, and often difficult soil of the past that allowed them to grow. It removes the immense pressure to make a perfect start, and instead allows us to see ourselves as we truly are, a continuous flow of becoming, where every new moment is built gently and patiently upon the foundation of all the moments that have come before. Even more profoundly, this cosmic perspective transforms our relationship with the idea of endings. In our stories, we fear the end. We see the end of a project, the end of an era, the end of a relationship as a kind of failure, a fall into a void, a small death. We see it as a hard, sharp line that separates what was from a future that is now empty. But our journey into the cosmos has shown us that the universe does not believe in true endings. The Great Bounce Theory taught us that the collapse of a universe is not its death, but the gathering of its energy for a magnificent rebirth. The story of the comets taught us that their beautiful dissolution is not an end, but a transformation into a legacy of light, a meteor shower for a future world. And so it is with our own lives. An ending is never just an ending. It is always a moment of profound and necessary transformation. The end of a job is not a fall into a void. It is the beginning of a period of rest, of recalibration, and of the quiet, open potential to discover a new path. The lessons learned, the skills acquired, the friendships made, none of that is erased. It is all recycled, the raw material from which your next chapter will be built. Even the painful end of a relationship is not a pure and simple loss. The love, the joy, and even the sorrow all become part of the deep, rich soil of your own heart. They are transformed into the wisdom, the compassion, and the strength that you will carry with you into every new dawn. To see our lives in this way is to find a deep and abiding peace. Our existence is not a series of disconnected ponds, some full and some empty. It is a single, continuous river, always flowing, always changing, always becoming. Sometimes the water is calm and clear. Sometimes it is turbulent and swift, but it is always the same river. To find our peace is to stop struggling against the current, to stop fearing the next bend in the river, and to learn to float, gently and trustfully, in the steady, eternal flow of the present moment. We have traveled on a great, circular journey. We began with the cosmos, with the grand and seemingly impersonal question of what came before the Big Bang. We explored the breathtaking theories that live at the edge of science, and from their immense, cosmic scale, we found our way back to the intimate, quiet landscape of our own lives. We have learned to see our own existence, not as a series of sharp starts and stops, but as a continuous and gentle flow, a single, unbroken river of becoming. This realization, this deep and peaceful perspective, is the great gift of our journey. And now, in these final few chapters of our exploration, we must turn our attention to the one miraculous thing that has made this entire journey possible. We must turn our attention to the power of the human mind and to the profound and quiet beauty of the question itself. For 13.8 billion years, the universe unfolded in a spectacle of silent, unwitnessed majesty. Great galaxies of stars were born from swirling clouds of gas, their spiral arms tracing graceful patterns on a canvas of absolute black. Stars lived their long and brilliant lives, fusing simple elements into the complex atoms that would one day become the stuff of planets and of life. They died in spectacular supernova explosions, scattering these precious, newly forged elements across the cosmos like a farmer sowing seeds in a great dark field. Worlds were formed, oceans were filled, continents drifted. All of this, the entire grand and intricate drama of cosmic evolution, played out on a silent and empty stage. There was no mind to perceive its beauty, no consciousness to be in awe of its vastness, no heart to feel a sense of connection to its story. And then, on one small, quiet planet, in a very ordinary corner of a very ordinary galaxy, something truly extraordinary occurred. The universe, after billions of years of silent, unthinking evolution, finally developed a way to look back at itself. Through the slow, patient, and miraculous process of life's unfolding, a consciousness was born that was capable not only of surviving, but of wondering. We are that consciousness. We are the universe's own way of becoming aware of its own story. The atoms in our bodies were forged in the hearts of those ancient, long-dead stars. The curiosity in our minds is the universe's own curiosity, turned back upon itself. The act of looking up at the night sky and asking the question, "Where did all of this come from?" is one of the most profound and meaningful events in the entire history of the cosmos. The ultimate lesson from our journey, then, is that the question is, in many ways, more important than the answer. The answers we have explored, the no-boundary proposal, the great bounce, the colliding brains, the multiverse, are beautiful, speculative, and may be forever beyond our ability to prove. But the act of asking the question, the act of engaging with the great mystery, is a powerful and transformative practice that is available to us right now. It is, in its own way, a form of deep and peaceful meditation. When we allow our minds to gently contemplate these immense cosmic ideas, our own small personal worries and anxieties naturally begin to shrink in comparison. Imagine your daily concerns, the deadlines, the difficult conversations, the regrets, as a layer of small, noisy clouds in the sky of your mind. They can often feel overwhelming, obscuring the entire view. The act of contemplating the origin of the entire universe is like gently ascending in a hot air balloon, rising smoothly and quietly above this layer of clouds. As you rise, the clouds do not necessarily vanish, but your perspective on them changes completely. From this higher vantage point, you can see them for what they are: temporary, localized, and ultimately small, all floating within a much larger, calmer, and clearer sky that was always there. The question of what came before the beginning is our vessel for this ascent. It lifts our perspective from the immediate and the stressful to the eternal and the serene. The Echo of Silence, the title of our journey, is therefore not just a reference to a time before time. It is a state that we can access within our own minds. It is the deep, quiet, and ever-present awareness that exists behind the constant chatter of our thoughts. It is the vast, silent sky of consciousness, within which all the cloudy weather of our daily lives takes place. And so, our journey to the beginning of the universe has also been a journey to the quiet center of our own being. The act of wondering about the cosmos is a powerful and gentle way to practice the art of finding our own inner silence. The question is not a problem that needs to be solved. It is a beautiful and unanswerable koan, a sacred key that has the power to unlock the door to our own deepest peace. We have arrived at a place of quiet and profound wonder. Our journey in search of the time before time has led us not to a single, simple answer, but to a deep and humbling appreciation for the mystery itself. We have discovered that the act of asking the great cosmic question is a form of meditation, a gentle practice that can lift our perspective and quiet our minds. The journey to the edge of the universe has become a journey to the calm and silent center of our own being. And now, as we begin our final approach to the shores of sleep, let us reflect on the practical wisdom that this cosmic perspective can bring into our lives. What are the gifts that we can carry back from this grand exploration? How can the story of the universe's origin help us to live with a greater sense of peace and a more gentle awareness, not just in these quiet moments, but in the midst of our waking days? The first and most powerful of these gifts is the gift of scale. In our daily lives, our worries and our anxieties can often feel immense, all-consuming. A difficult challenge at work, a misunderstanding with a loved one, a fear about the future. These concerns can fill the entire sky of our minds, becoming the only reality we can see, making us feel small and overwhelmed. This is the moment to gently employ the wisdom of our journey. Let us try this now. Bring to your mind a worry that has been weighing upon you. Do not struggle with it or try to solve it. Simply allow it to be there, acknowledging its presence. Now, let us begin to zoom out. In the time machine of your mind, gently float upwards, out of the room you are in. See the roof of your home, then your entire neighborhood, then your city, a beautiful and complex web of lights and lives. Let us continue to ascend. See the curve of the earth, the soft blue and white swirl of the atmosphere against the perfect black of space. See the entire continent on which you live, and then the great blue marble of our entire world hanging silent and beautiful in the void. From this vantage point, hold your worry once more. See how it is a single, small story on a world of 8 billion other stories. Now, let us go further. We float past the orbit of our vanished moon's ghost and watch as our beautiful blue planet shrinks to become a pale blue dot, a tiny, fragile speck of light. We drift out past the great gaseous giant, Jupiter, and past the silent, icy rings of Saturn. We leave our solar system entirely. Our sun becomes just another bright star among 100 billion other stars in our Milky Way galaxy. We continue to pull back until our entire vast galaxy is just one small, spiral-shaped island of light in a great, dark cosmic ocean that contains 2 trillion other galaxies. From this place of immense, silent, and unimaginable scale, from this perspective of 13.8 billion years of cosmic history, let's look back at that one small worry. It is not that the worry has become meaningless. Your feelings are real and they are valid. But from this grand perspective, the worry has found its proper context. The universe is not hostile to our problems. It is simply vast, and its vastness can be a great and profound comfort, a quiet, loving space in which we can hold our troubles, allowing them to feel a little lighter, a little less overwhelming. A second gift from our journey is the gift of patience. The story of our universe is a story of almost unimaginable slowness. It took billions of years for the first stars to live and die to create the elements of life. It took another 4.5 billion years of slow, patient evolution on our planet for our own consciousness to emerge. The cosmos is in no hurry, and yet, in our own lives, we are so often in a state of profound impatience. We want our goals to be achieved now. We want our healing to be complete now. We feel a deep sense of frustration with the slow, unfolding process of our own lives. Contemplating cosmic time is a powerful antidote. It teaches us to trust the process. It is a gentle reminder that all things of true and lasting beauty take time to grow. It gives us permission to be more patient and more compassionate with our own unfolding journey. And a final gift is the gift of connection. The story of our origins is the ultimate story of our shared ancestry. As you rest here, become aware of the physical substance of your own body, the calcium that gives strength to your bones, the iron that allows your blood to carry oxygen, the carbon that forms the backbone of your very DNA. Every single one of these atoms, these fundamental building blocks of your being, was not created on this earth. They were forged in the unimaginable heat and pressure in the heart of a star that lived and died billions of years before our own sun was ever born. That star's explosive supernova death scattered these precious atoms across the galaxy, and they eventually found their way into the great cloud of gas and dust that would become our solar system, our planet, and ultimately, you. You are not just living in the universe. The universe is living in you. You are, in the most literal and beautiful sense, made of stardust. To feel this connection is to dissolve the illusion of being a small, isolated self. It is to feel your own body as a direct, physical link to the entire, grand, and unfolding story of the cosmos. This deep and profound sense of belonging is perhaps the most peaceful and comforting realization of all. Our grand journey of the mind is now complete. We have traveled to the very edge of all beginnings. We have brought the wisdom of the cosmos back into our own hearts, and we have discovered the profound peace that can be found in the beauty of a great and enduring mystery. We have learned to see our own lives not as a series of starts and stops, but as a continuous, flowing river. We have learned to hold our worries with a sense of cosmic scale, to approach our own growth with a sense of cosmic patience, and to feel our own bodies as a direct and living connection to the ancient stars. The intellectual part of our journey is over. The story has been told. And now the only journey that remains is the simplest, most gentle, and most natural journey of all. It is the final, quiet, and effortless descent into the deep and healing universe of sleep. And so, as you lie here, in the comfort and the stillness of your own quiet space, you can now give yourself permission to let all of these stories and all of these ideas go. Allow them to dissolve and fade, like the tail of a distant comet vanishing back into the darkness. They have served their purpose. They have been our vessel, our time machine of the mind, and they have carried us safely to this quiet shore. Now, you can step out of the vessel and onto the soft, worn sand of the present moment. There is nothing left to analyze, nothing left to understand, and nothing left to solve. There is only the silence that the story leaves behind, and the simple, peaceful reality of your own being at rest. Let us begin this final, gentle journey by bringing our awareness into the body. Let us start with the feet and the lower legs. Simply notice them, and as you exhale, give them permission to become heavy, soft, and completely relaxed. Feel them sinking gently into the surface beneath you, letting go of all the tension from the day's walking and standing. Now, bring your awareness up into your thighs and your hips, feeling the weight of your body, solid and completely supported. With your next slow breath out, release all the tension you may be holding here. Let this part of your body become heavy and still. Now bring your awareness to your stomach and your lower back. This is a place where we often hold the stress and the worries of our day. As you breathe in, simply notice any tension that may be there. And as you breathe out, imagine that tension gently dissolving, melting away, leaving behind a feeling of soft, warm release. Let your awareness drift up into your chest and become aware for a moment of the gentle, steady, and reliable rhythm of your own heart, beating its quiet and constant rhythm. Feel the gentle rise and fall of your chest with each breath, a slow and steady tide that is all your own. This is the quiet, life-giving pulse of your own personal universe. Allow this feeling of gentle peace to flow down into your arms, your hands, and your fingers. Your hands have been working all day, holding and grasping and doing. Now is their time to simply be. Allow them to feel heavy, warm, and completely at rest. Let go of the need to do anything at all. Now bring your awareness to your neck and your shoulders, another place where we carry the burdens of the day. As you exhale, imagine the weight on your shoulders gently dissolving. Feel the muscles in your neck becoming soft and long. Let go of all the weight you have been carrying. And finally, bring your awareness to your head and to your face. Gently release any tension you may be holding in your jaw. Allow your tongue to rest gently in your mouth. Soften the tiny muscles around your eyes, and smooth out the space on your forehead between your eyebrows. Let your entire face become soft, calm, and serene. Your body is now in a state of deep and profound rest. It is your anchor, holding you safely and peacefully in the present moment. There is nowhere else you need to be. There is nothing else you need to do. All that is left is to rest here in this quiet stillness and to float on the gentle, silent tide of your own breathing. You are here now, in a place of deep and profound quiet. Your body is at peace, heavy, warm, and completely supported. Your mind is calm. The great cosmic questions have been asked, and their beautiful, mysterious echoes have settled into a deep and gentle silence. The journey of exploration is complete. The work is done, and now there is nothing left to do but to allow yourself to drift on the quiet, gentle tide that is carrying you towards the shores of sleep. There is no effort required. There is no destination to strive for. There is only this moment, this breath, and the simple, easy, and natural process of letting go. Imagine, if you will, that your awareness is a small, solitary boat resting on the surface of a perfectly calm and glassy lake. The night is clear, and the sky above is filled with a soft, silent tapestry of distant stars. There is no wind, there is no sound. There is only the immense, peaceful stillness of the water and the sky. Your small boat is not tied to any shore. It is simply adrift, held in the gentle embrace of the lake. The water is the deep, quiet peace of your own mind, and the boat is your awareness, safe, secure, and perfectly at ease. You do not need to row. You do not need to steer. You simply need to allow the gentle, imperceptible currents of the water to carry you where they will. The gentle rhythm of your own breathing is the current. Notice it now without any effort at all. The breath breathes itself. A slow, easy inhale. A long, soft, complete exhale. Each breath is a gentle swell, a quiet ripple that rocks your small boat ever so slightly, lulling you deeper and deeper into a state of peace. Feel the effortless nature of this. You are not doing anything at all. You are simply allowing yourself to be breathed. You are allowing yourself to be held by the quiet stillness of this moment. If any thoughts should arise, see them as faint, distant meteors, brief and silent streaks of light in the vast, dark sky above your lake. You can notice them without needing to follow them, without needing to know where they came from or where they are going. They are just passing phenomena, and your attention can always return, gently and easily, to the simple, profound stillness of your boat. Floating on the calm, dark water, you can feel yourself beginning to drift now. The shore of the waking world is a distant, fading memory, and the shore of sleep is still somewhere in the quiet darkness ahead. But you are not concerned with either. You are here, in the beautiful, peaceful space in between. You are floating. You are drifting. You are letting go. With every breath you exhale, feel your little boat becoming a little more a part of the water, the boundary between your awareness and the deep, quiet peace beginning to soften and dissolve. There is no need to hold on to anything now. It is safe to let go completely. It is safe to allow the gentle current to carry you into the great, silent ocean of deep and restorative sleep. Sleep will come when it is ready. It will arrive as a gentle, welcome friend. You do not need to wait for it. You do not need to look for it. You simply need to rest here in this perfect, peaceful stillness. And so, you can drift now, floating on a silent lake, under a sky of silent stars. The journey is over. All that is left is this deep and profound and comfortable peace. Drifting, floating, letting go, deeper and deeper, into the quiet, into the calm, into the deep, healing, and wonderful silence of sleep. Rest now. Just rest. The journey continues, always calmly, always at the pace of the universe.